Hi, everyone. Welcome to the show. You're listening to the I Am Real Estate Show with Sandra and Ray. And today we have our guest host, who is Danielle Johnson. She is a newest member of the Johnson Smith team, and she's also our daughter. So we wanted to say hi.
Hi. Thanks for having me.
Danielle.
And with us, we also have one of our guests here. Today we're going to spend a lot of time with Don Geisler, who's the owner and designated broker of Indy Realty. How you doing, boss?
Doing great today. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we thought we'd start today and try to introduce you guys to our newest member and let Danielle Johnson talk a little bit about her reason for becoming a real estate agent and joining Indy. Is that too much of a question, or should we make it more specific?
We'll start out and see how it goes.
Okay.
So I decided to become a real estate agent just because it sounded like an interesting thing. And so I took my classes and I got my license pretty quickly and got started. And I realized that it's a lot of fun. And, you know, I used to love house shopping. And when I bought my first house, I was 22. And it took me a really long time to find the house that I wanted.
You're that person that drives agents crazy.
I was thinking about that. We saw tons and tons of houses, and it was not that expensive, so the commission was probably not that great. But it was so much fun. We had a blast. And, you know, it's been something that I really enjoy now because I like being able to go and look for houses and to help people have the excitement of finding their new home.
It's kind of like shopping, only someone else writes the check.
Yes, exactly.
But you do have to find what they want.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, so I know that you didn't go really far outside interviewing a lot of companies and stuff, but you did have options to choose from. And what was it, other than the fact that you have, you know, the team at Indy, but what were the other things that kind of attracted you to coming into the Indy family?
So I do have other family and friends at other brokerages. And for me, when I came in and I did my first interview and kind of got to know about the company, it was that I could be who I want to be and I could do the things that I want to and reach my goals and have the support that I needed to do that. And so for me, what that looks like is, as a single mom, I need to have a company who can understand that I am a single mom and that my kids depend on me, and that they are going to take the priority in my life, but that my business, I want to build around them and not have it become something that takes away from my family. And so it's really been an opportunity to get the help that I need to achieve my goals, to create a business plan and to work toward what I think are my skills and my strengths, and at the same time, be the mom that I want to be.
And we have Don Geisler here too, who is the broker for Indy Realty. Welcome, Don.
Thank you.
So
nice to be here.
You've been part of this whole conversation as well from day one, and you do get to meet with a lot of agents, both seasoned agents and new agents. So talk a little bit about, you know, that conversation that you have when someone comes in like Danielle, and what Indy offers to someone. And for her, being a single mom, I know that was a huge thing, that's going to be a good fit for her.
Well, I think, you know, we set out to build a culture that was very family oriented. And that means that we are all a family. You know, it doesn't just mean it's just for people with families or not, or, you know, whatever. But you can go out and interview with, you know, almost any company in the world, and people are going to be spouting the word culture at you, and because it's a buzzword. And I think that we really set out, and you and Raymond, you know, helped me as we set out with our vision for the company. And we were very, very much about culture. For us, it is absolutely not lip service. So in addition to, from a professional standpoint, having what I believe is a world-class suite of technology, of support, what we do as a brokerage, we put a lot of focus in the culture that we're trying to build. And so I haven't really put this out here. We have some photos on social media, because we actually have in our office we just call it the kids room so far. I suppose we should come up with a
we have to come up with a cool name.
I need to call that Becky's room here pretty soon. She thinks she owns that place.
Yeah, and it's awesome. But we actually have the room for the kiddos to come in. And they're not sequestered in that particular room or anything. And we have lots of space, but our philosophy was just, when I talk to people and they're like, well, what do you think about, I have my kiddo with me X hours a week, or I would love to be on duty and answer the phones, but I have the kiddos that day.
Right.
And we're like, we want the kiddos. We've always, not just with the kids, but we've always wanted the spouses, the significant others, the important people in people's lives to come in and get to know us, know who their family, who their loved ones are hanging out with, and what our goals are and our philosophies and our cultures are. And so we've always just said, look, if we can't have a place where the kids can come in, then really, why are we doing this? Like, everybody says that we're doing it for them. So we can't, we want them around. Like, it's not just that we tolerate them being there. We embrace what they add to our culture. And I would challenge anybody, drop into our office at 7255 East Tancaverde Road. And when you walk down that hallway past the kids' room, and it's filled with kids,
yes, it
and
is.
One of them is drawn on the chalkboard, and one is playing on the iPad, and one is reading a book, and there's giggling, and we have so much energy in the office. It is the best environment that I've ever been in.
And
It's
people got to
awesome.
realize that we have productivity happening at the same time.
Yes.
It's not that the kids are doing there, but their parents are being productive in the office, trying to get things done, having their designated broker right there if they have any questions while they're trying to sit there and get their business off the ground.
And I think of it too as a single mom who, when I go into different places, businesses, I have my kids with me. It's always a little bit nerve-wracking knowing that I'm going into a place of business with my children. And so for our clients, it's really great to help them feel comfortable because they can come into our office and feel at home.
Right.
It's not a big, scary office where, okay, don't touch this, don't touch that, don't move. It's a place where they can actually come and they can have fun at the same time that you're handling very serious and very important financial decisions.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think the conference rooms are situated so you can kind of still keep an eye on the kids, which is cool, and when they're in there, if you're going over contracts and stuff, it's a nice, comfortable place to be. I have to say too, Dawn, though, the skill set that Danielle brings to the table, you've got to be excited because you got some mad skills, girl.
Well, thank you.
She is awesome. I am more than happy to put out there and shout from the rooftops that from a marketing, from a taking care of client standpoint, Danielle is absolute superstar. We're very, very lucky to have her at Indy Realty.
Yeah, she's done a lot of help for us developing our logos and bouncing a lot of ideas off her when it comes to graphics because she's just got a lot of skill there. So we're excited to have her part of the team. Welcome, Danielle, and we're glad that you were able to join us today, at least for this first segment. We'll see if we can keep her for two.
Yeah,
we'll
thank
see what
you
we
so
try
much.
to do. And understand that she's part of the team, so she's probably going to be here more often. And soon we'll be taking the guest host off of her name. So she'll just be one of the members on the team. So we'll be heading to the break right now. We're here with Don Geisler. He's the designated broker of Indy Realty. Thanks for spending part of your afternoon with us. You're listening to the I Am Real Estate Show on 1030 KVOI, The Voice. Hey, we're back at the show. Thank you for staying with us. We are here with Don Geisler, who is the designated broker of the Indy Realty Company. It was established January 1, 2022. How you doing, hey, boss?
That's us. Feeling great. Very happy to be here. Excited. Life is good.
Yeah, we're happy to have you here. We didn't really have any specific direction that we were going to go today, but what's on your mind as far as the real estate market? Things have changed dramatically, wouldn't you say, in the last 4 weeks?
They have changed. So I guess the buzzword of the last 6 months is shift, right? So I try to avoid, I hate when I find myself saying those words that the talking heads are spitting out left and right, but it's different. So, I think that people need to be focused and have an understanding of what's going on in the market. I would say, at least it feels to me, for this moment, for this cycle, that pricing has peaked. We are starting to see in some areas a little bit of a decline in pricing. And so before anybody panics, I mean, it presents a lot of opportunities for everybody because most sellers are still in that position where they have a great amount of equity,
Yes.
that they can accomplish what they want to accomplish. But there's a little bit more time on the market. Buyers have a little bit more opportunity to shop a little bit.
Yeah.
And you always, and everybody knows me, I try very, very much not to be Pollyanna, but I am very glasses half full. And the excitement that we're feeling in the market from the buyers that have been felt locked out for the past 2 years plus
Yes.
is very, very tangible. So, it's always about set expectations with sellers where things are going with prices, and just encourage everybody to be educated. We have to know what is going on in a neighborhood. The price that was out there 8 months ago is not going to be there any longer. And if you insist on just sitting there, you're just setting yourself up for a great deal of frustration and unhappiness. So I think just being on top of what exactly is the market doing, where exactly are you at, everybody can still absolutely achieve their goals. It's a very, very exciting time.
Yeah, Don, I was thinking about buyers now taking advantage of the market because of the way it is right now. But my thing is, and I've always tried to emphasize, is that it's okay to get into it now and understanding what's going on. And then it's not like when you get in, you get your lending and you get your pre-approval and you're looking at homes that you have to buy it at that time.
Right.
It's just that you get an understanding what's going on, what's in the market. You understand what your agent is doing for you. And you're getting this search from us that's telling you, hey, here's all the homes that are available. Once you get into the market, you seem more knowledgeable as the further you go forth and waiting for, hey, I need it in 40 days or in 45 days. I need to go find a house. That's tough. Instead, you said, I got 6 months. I have a lot of time and a lot of time on my hand. And if you have a good agent, like, I hate to pat us up in the back, like us,
Agreed.
then you can make things happen. But I think the buyers need to know that this is the best time for them. So I think it's always the best time. It's just a matter of you have to understand the expectations.
It is. And there's always opportunity in every single market to achieve your goals. There really, really are. And, I really encourage everybody super strongly to interest rates, it drives the media cycle, right? I mean, interest rates is a big thing. Right. And good news does not sell. So I mean, everybody knows that the media cycle is driven by bad news. And so interest rates are, of course, on buyers' minds. Fear, uncertainty, interest rates are what is in consumers' ears right now. And so I think we just need to, again, get in touch with knowledgeable people and understand what is going on in the market. And there's just a lot that we can do. And for example, an interest rate, no matter, you could get an interest rate today, and actually interest rates haven't been bad. I've got one locked in right at 5% right now, which historically speaking is still really very, very, very good.
Absolutely.
But you're not locked into it. That's the thing about, nobody knows what the future holds, but odds are, and history says, that rates are going to continue to fluctuate. So you might, if you get into a 6 or 7% loan and you find the home of your dreams and you get in a year, you may be able to refinance out of that. I mean, the goal is, as soon as things move, you're able to make changes. So
John Spur always says you marry the house and date the rate. I love that.
I love it. Yeah, that's great.
So we've talked a little bit about the fact that as you said, the interest rates come up, they go down, they come up, they go down. Stock market, it's going up, it's coming down, it's going up, it's coming down. So if you look at your investment in the stock market, having taken possibly a big hit over the last number of months as interest rates have shifted people's thinking. One thing about buying a home, regardless of where your rate is, you have a roof over your head. At the end of the day, you have a roof over your head. And I think that you can come in and, look at refinancing down the road, people buying and selling. We used to say it takes 2 years really to recoup. So if you want to buy and sell, plan on being in the house 2 years. Do you feel that is, the last few years that's been off the table, right? Be in your house 2 months and then you start talking about selling. But do you think we're back to that point where someone should look at at buying and holding for 2 years?
I don't exactly know about the 2-year price point, but I think it's a good rule of thumb.
Mhm.
And I think it is so amazingly refreshing
Mm-hmm.
to hear you say it,
Mhm.
right? Because when I keep saying there's opportunity in every market, sometimes there's opportunity to flip. I mean,
Mhm.
there still is, but on a macro scale, like in this market, you're not going to move in and flip it real quick and make a giant profit and get out. On a macro scale.
Right.
But yeah, I think in this particular market, you have a great opportunity to buy a home.
Mm-hmm.
This market is the one that lends itself to buy a home. Find that home that is a roof over your head that you love and count on hanging on to it. But yeah, it used to be the rule of thumb, hey, with what you're going to pay to get in a house, your down payment, all this stuff, it's going to take you a couple of years to get back out, so you better be sure. So I think it's the right counsel to give people to say, buy this as a home and not maybe as an ATM during this
Right.
cycle right now, and,
yeah, we
and
had
go from there.
clients that were able to buy. No, they weren't flipping. They were just buying. And I think before they made their first payment, this was about a year ago, before they made their first payment, they got a job offer in another state and they said, can we sell? And I just said, no, you cannot sell. But after a year of having that home as a rental, they actually walked away with probably about a 10%
That's
nest
awesome.
egg on the home that they purchased. And I don't think that type of appreciation is what people can expect, but we have a lot of buyers who have maybe an unrealistic expectation of those huge gains in a short amount of time. So I do think people should look at that purchase as being like a 2-year.
And my thing is that if they had gotten to the market 2 months ago, they would have showed us fluctuation. They'd be like, wow, now it's time to buy it. But you already know that because you've been looking at homes, you've been looking at the market, you've been looking at things. You're in the industry, and then you're looking through. So if you don't do it now, 2 months from now, you're like, wow, I wish I'd gotten in then.
Right.
So my thing is, don't want to tell you, hey, 2 months from now, I wish I'd gotten in. So we try to get people to mind, get in now, understand what's going on. It'll help you 2 months from now if that's when you want to buy. Some people are buying before then.
Yeah.
There's another thing too that I think buyers need to think about, which is, are you buying an investment? Investment is risky. Are you buying a home? A home is what you make of it. So if you enjoy the home, you love the home, make it your home. Now or in 6 months, but make it your home.
I totally
Agreed,
agree.
100%.
You're listening to Sandra and Ray and Danielle and Don on the I Am Real Estate Show on 10:30 a.m. The Voice. We'll be back with more information after the break. We are back. The two of us are back with Don Geisler. Our daughter had a chance to go do some other things, and so she won't be she won't be here for the third and fourth segment of the show. We want to let you know we're here with Don Geisler. He is our designated broker of Indy Realty, which was established in January 1, 2022. And talking a little bit about, Don, you just heard one of your agents talk a little bit about what was their reason for joining the company. How does that make you feel hearing that from one of your agents?
Yeah, it's really gratifying. I mean, I think, like I said, as we started talking about, we really set out to establish a culture, and the goal is that it is a culture that people walk into the office and they are just happy to be there.
Mhm.
We talk about supportive environments, and it's funny because of course I'm invested in the company. I want people to come join the company, and so it's easy for me to say, but you really have to come in and experience what we've put out, because I really think that our whole office from front to back just has a vibe to it that is it's a comforting vibe, it's a productive vibe, it's a supportive vibe,
Mm-hmm.
and it's really has turned out better than what I even ever envisioned. I mean, we mapped out something and made it come to life, and it just gratifying is the word.
I think part of it is it's a beautiful office, and so I don't want to get lost on that. I mean, it's been remodeled, absolutely beautiful. Everything is kind of fresh and very. I want to say youthful. I don't have a better word than that for it, but just the type of inspiration we get just being there. But one of the things that's a little thing, but it's a big thing, is you have a Keurig built into the water cooler. I mean, come on.
So, yeah, we tended to, so we did, the office is modern. It is a modern office, and,
Yes.
and it has a modern vibe. And, when we're out there and we're shopping and we're looking at how we're going to furnish things and what we're going to put on the walls and stuff like that, and we come across this, we know that we need water, right? And we come across this option that the Keurig, I don't know if it's actually the brand, but the instant coffee maker is actually with the pods is right in the top of the water machine, and people love it. And I can tell you that it's literally when I'm interviewing somebody, and it's the last thing that I show them because it's just this awesome impression that people love to have. Is like, man, these guys do things right.
And all this is functional. I mean, if you think about this, though, we have a bullpen. We also have a conference room. You can sit out front. And if you have an agent come in, everyone says hi to them. We have things where you can do your training and stuff with monitors where you can watch. And almost every conference room has a TV in there or a monitor there, so you can do your computer and have your computer cast to there and show that to your client. I mean, it's just so many things that the office brings that makes it so youthful, but not only youthful, but makes it so functional.
And when we set out, we wanted to have a different model. And, there's kind of a buzz phrase out there right now, drop-in space or temporary space or whatever. And so we wanted the whole office to be, nobody owns a piece of it. It's not assigned. There's just, we have a vast number of offices with doors on them that you can come in and drop in and use. And then we also have the bullpen there that has the company machines and stuff like that people can drop in. And that's super comfortable.
Yes.
And then up front, kind of the showpiece, the centerpiece of our operation there is our cafe. We call it the cafe workspace up front, which is it's up in the front of the building, and there is just several different types of seating, and it's natural, well lit, and the monitors there, and there's conference table, and there's high top bar type tables, and there's just all kind of spaces in there that whatever you're in the mood to sit down and do, if you want to be out front in the sun and open your laptop and sit in the window, you can. If you want to go, hide back in one of the offices and shut the barn door, you can. We've just put together a whole different model that just has a wonderful vibe.
Yeah, great windows where you can see the Udall Park, and just sitting there at your computer or at the table doing your work and looking at the Udall Park, watching people run, watching dogs go by, and it's like, wow, this is.
That's pretty
Sometimes
awesome.
you forget that, I'm supposed to be working, and you're sitting there looking at that. Another thing is that you talked about, and we have been telling our partners and vendors that Indy Realty business office is a place to drop off. If you're in the middle of getting something done, or you don't want to go all the way back to your office, it's on the other side or up in north, stop in our office, say hi, and use that as a pinpoint where you can sit there and work there before you go into your next appointment.
Yeah, I think that is the definition of the word community. And, when we selected that location, one of the first things that we started to think about was, how do we become part of this community? How do we become known, as a thriving and important member of this community and supportive member of this community? And so, that is a small thing, but
Right.
I mean, right here on the air, I tell people, everybody is invited to stop in. There are so many people, and you're talking in terms of, vendors and service people that we work with who might be pest inspectors or whatever, and they spend so much time in their cars and so much time in fast food or sitting under a tree at a park. Stop in. We have tons of surface space, tons of workspace, and the fact is that we really enjoy, and part of our goal and part of our mission is for members of the community to stop in, consider it a safe zone, get some work done, or just put on a podcast and relax. Whatever, people are welcome in our office.
I think that's awesome. I think that that culture that you've talked about is why people are attracted to come in and be part of the team.
Agree 100%. Yeah, I love that, because we always talk about when Sandra wake up in the morning, like, you ready? We're trying to get out of the house and get dressed as quick as possible to head to the office. because we want to be there. We want to be around all the things that are there and all the tools that allow us to do our work. One thing I brought up, I want to talk about is the printing from home that you've incorporated into the system.
Yeah, so in an effort just to make our agents' lives simpler, we have invested in some in a service and some software where you can actually print to our printer in the office from home. It's just one of those small things, but we really spend a lot of time analyzing, and maybe in the next segment we can tell you a little bit about more from a technology and from a philosophy standpoint what we're doing as a real estate brokerage. But that's just, we analyze everything, from my decades of experience of saying, as an agent and as a leader of real estate professionals, people saying, here's what I want, here's what I don't want, here's what I think, here's what I don't think. And we really tried to put together, a great operation.
Hey, we're here with Don Geisler, the owner of Indy Realty, which was established in January 1, 2022. You're listening to the I Am Real Estate Show with Sandra and Ray. We'll be back on the other side for the last segment. Thank you guys for staying with us for the last segment. We're here with Don Geisler, the designated broker of Indy Realty. If you're looking to buy or sell your home or have any questions concerning real estate, we would love to help. Please call the Johnson Smith team at 520-850-1725 or 520-904-7711.
Yeah, we actually have, before we get into more discussion, we have a couple of listings we wanted to talk about. One is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath out in Corona Day, Tucson. It does qualify for USDA financing, which is a zero-down loan program. And we have a seller that, with an accepted offer, would be willing to buy down your interest rate or contribute towards closing costs. So if somebody's a little short on cash, but the monthly payment's not the problem, it's getting that down payment together. It's a great option. House has great views, view fencing behind, so has a lot to offer. Nice open space too. And then we also will have something that is incoming soon in Academy Village. It's a little townhome, 1-bedroom casita style townhouse there with views as well. So you can reach out to us if you want more information on that.
It's also in an age-restricted area, right?
It is, yes.
Okay, so make sure everybody's aware of that.
Age-restricted community. We were talking a little bit about some of the benefits of being where we're at, but I kind of wanted to touch on the training that we receive, because the agents that are coming to Indy are well-qualified agents, but also getting a lot of good education. And I think that we kind of get lost sometimes in all the perks of the culture, but I want people to realize too that when you're reaching out to someone, you're getting an agent that's getting weekly training, and it's not a lot of fluff stuff. We're getting the changes in contracts, what's current and relevant in the market today.
Yeah, I think it's important. And I always approach, how we deliver information to our agent or to our agents in, a couple different pathways. And one is the technical expertise, is that we are responsible for these transactions, and we are responsible for being experts and being, well educated. And so we do have weekly meetings. We have several things on the calendar every week, and one of them is, a weekly sales meeting that, I really use to try to keep everybody informed of things that are changing, things that are going on out there. I mean, whether it's new forms, new rules, new laws, new trends, what's going on in the market, financing, all the stuff that agents need to have to effectively advocate for their clients.
Well, let me ask you a question. Last meeting you had brought up that the seller property disclosure is being updated.
Yes.
Much more information going on there. Would you recommend to people that are on the market now that we really should be having our clients update that form if they were already on the market? They've got a seller property disclosure in place. Would you say that that with our listings that we need to update that form?
I absolutely would. And the reason I would say that is, and I'm the last one that just wants to be pushing more paper at people, but when you look at the spirit of why we do what we do, the reason that the document was updated is because there are new and changing issues that have become flashpoints,
right,
that have become relevant,
yes,
that are different, that either didn't exist or were different back when that form came out, the last iteration of it, right? So we as professionals protect our clients better by having them update to the information, because if, God forbid, if a claim gets filed down the road, a defense is not going to be, well, they had filled out the old disclosure and this wasn't on it, so we want to have our sellers protected and educated and protect the buyers with the updated stuff.
Yeah, I think probably the biggest one for me, and they're all important or they wouldn't be on there, was the permit questions and whether or not you've used a licensed contractor.
It's very critical. And case in point, and when we're saying that things have changed, something that the Department of Real Estate looks at is, people that are flipping property, and there are very, very black and white laws about, whether a contractor is required or is not in that scenario. So we don't have to get into that specific issue, but that's something that over the course of the past couple years, with really rapidly increasing equity and flipping potential in a lot of properties, that has become a hot button.
Yeah, and we have to say that the Department of Real Estate really is focused on protecting consumers.
That's the mission,
and that is where they're always going to look to, is what is in the best interest of that consumer. And so,
the one thing I want to talk about a little bit, if you don't mind, is about training, and piggyback on Sandra, is that all the companies say they have training, way they do training, but I think Indy does it differently, because you do a lot of individual training.
We do.
Where you sit there and talk to not only about real estate packages and about the technical, but also about your business and how to grow your business and how to make sure that how to make you a better real estate company or a better real estate entity.
Yeah, I mean, I will just shamelessly say right now that my focus, my recruiting campaigns right now, everything is focused on the market has changed and what you need, the support and the expertise, and how you thrive in any type of market. So we've really embarked on a plan that there are so many wonderful systems out there. I'm always very focused on, as an agent, as somebody who's trying to build a business, we need to be focused on the highest yield activities, like the activities that lead to new business. And a lot of times, agents become overwhelmed. I mean, you can open up your inbox on any given morning, and 20 different emails say, buy this system, pay for this coaching, invest in that.
So true.
And, and so people get overwhelmed and they get paralyzed. And so I think as a leadership team, we have sat down and from some of the top coaching in the world, utilize the concepts that we feel help agents grow their business, that are the most time efficient, that are the most cost efficient. And we roll out the programs. As you know, we have meetings every single week and we roll out the programs, but then we're very committed to whatever degree an agent wants. Spend the time with them with the follow-up,
right?
And follow-up is key, when it comes to growing a business.
When you choose real estate for a career, you have to be so well-rounded, because part of your job is actually working with contracts. Part of it is, working with clients and being able to do the sales part, I suppose, and just helping them find what they're looking for and narrow that down. But you also have to, you have to be good at marketing. You have to be good at time management. You have to be good at budgeting your finances, paying your taxes. There are a lot of moving parts. Yeah. And I don't, there may be agents that are really strong in one area and not another. You just have to find a way to find that balance so that you are very well-rounded to be successful.
Yeah. And I think, again, with our commitment is when none of us, no manager, no leader can be an expert at every single thing. But our commitment is always to take these different facets of what you just mentioned, all these different facets, and present what we think are the most efficient ways to handle each one, to touch on each one of these things and say, this is what we're finding is the most efficient, most effective way for you to do this. and really provide as well-rounded of a support and training structure as we possibly can, so that our professionals can be as well-rounded as they want to be.
I like it because I think what you say to me every time I sit there and I watch you, how you equally train everyone the same way, is that you just want everyone to be the number one realtor. So like, it's like there's nothing. It's being a number two is okay, but your goal is to be a number one realtor, build your business, and strive for and reach your goals. Goals is what we talk about at every meeting. Reaching your goals. Talk a little bit about that if you can, Don.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really into each agent's individual goals. And like for me, I don't have a goal, except for your success. I don't have a specific goal for you until you tell me what your goals are, you know, and then I'm relentless about wanting to help you achieve that goal. But yeah, I think that if you're in this business and you're feeling disjointed and lost and pulled in a bunch of different directions, I would say call us. You know, you can always reach me, Don, 520-869-2376, and hear how it is that we present and how it is that we support the agents. And we start with your goals, and then we work into what exactly do we have to do for you to achieve your own goals. And that's a monthly basis, a weekly basis, a daily basis,
quarterly basis. I mean,
we're there.
There's systems for everything. You're listening to Don Geisler, who is the designated broker and owner of Indy Realty, established January 1, 2022. Why am I saying it so much? Because I just like saying established. I just want everybody to know that we're new, but we're bold, and we're going to change things in the industry, we believe.
And, you know, follow that up, Ray, just for 1 second to say, although the company is new, people out there are listening to decades of experience right now. I mean, we're very experienced.
Yeah, we started partway through the year last year. We had our best year we've had in real estate. And so I've been around. I stopped counting. It's kind of like when you get older, you just stop counting. But I know it's over 8 years. So, yeah, and I think that the company has offered the support that I need to be a successful agent. So we appreciate you. If we don't say that out loud often enough,
we do appreciate you, Don.
We appreciate you guys so much and the support that we receive at the company. So we thank our listeners today. We also would like to thank our sponsors. We work with Horizon Inspections. They do a phenomenal job. Can't say enough good about them. Indy Realty, Inspired Life Mortgage. That's your first step if you're thinking about making a purchase. And Rego Pest Prevention.
We'd like to thank Don Geisler of Indy Realty for spending some time with us today and enlightening us about lending and selling homes and doing everything we need to do in the industry. We'll see you guys next week. Thanks, Don.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me here.